So is there any background noise? Maybe anyone can tell.
No, it's clear.
None.
Okay, so it's clear, right? Okay, great. Then we can start. Okay, so please everyone turn on your camera if possible. Akshay sir, we can start recording.
Okay, madam. Started, madam.
Great. So very good evening, everyone. I am Madhuganda, and this is another Oratory Club event from Sundarbans House. And today, the topic of discussion is cyberbullying. In today's digital world, every person is on internet for one purpose or other. It helps us to connect with each other, share information and data about each other. All this sounds so good, but until you understand the concept of cyberbullying, you will realize the downsides of internet too. Cyberbullying basically means like insulting, threatening, defaming, or intentionally harassing other people either on the internet, like through social media apps or emails or instant messenger, or via telephone, like making annoying calls or WhatsApp calls or Telegram messages, maybe. We all share tons of data or internet in forms of picture, audio, video, or location, or any other form of data for that matter. And people on internet have the services to comment on that or connect to us directly or take that data and misuse it and make without any consent, right? So that too being anonymous. So all this comes under cyberbullying, and we will discuss all of it. So most of the times the culprit is referred to as bully, who acts most of the times anonymously. So the victim does not know from where that acts is coming, basically. So before we go any further, anyone else who wants to add any point regarding basic concept of cyberbullying, or anyone who has been through cyberbullying, or where maybe you know someone who has been through cyberbullying and you want to share any experience, please raise your hand. We'll allow you to unmute and you can share your experience. It's okay. So we'll move forward. Basically, cyberbullying is a crime in anywhere in the world, but before cyberbullying, there were other forms of bullying, like face-to-face bullying or like physical bullying in your school or any other places. So, what is the basic difference between these two, like cyberbullying or simple face-to-face bullying? Anyone else who wants to add some point before we go any further into the basic differences? What are the differences that you feel are there in cyberbullying or in face-to-face bullying? Yes, Anshuman.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. So, yeah, I think what Madhu is talking about, it's just that signs of the times, the medium has changed, but then people on average still behave the same way, and especially like when people are growing up, kids can be cruel, and they can ostracize people, behave differently with someone just because of their appearance or the way they speak, the tiniest of things. So yeah, just cyberbullying is just something which is just that same behavior that's exhibited by people. And actually, it is not actually limited to just childhood. People grown up, people also continue to behave in those ways. And then I think that behavior of a few people cascades into the entire group, because human beings are conformists mostly, and people behave the way they see other people around them behave. So like the famous Bobo doll experiment in psychology, that it's this experiment that like an inflatable doll is put in front of a child, and then there are two groups. So in one group, the researcher comes in. There's a child observing the doll and the researcher. So in one group, what happens is that the observer plays gently with the doll, and then when he leaves and kids are allowed to play, they play gently with it. And in the other group, the kids behave similarly. So again, like if the old adage that a few bad fish can ruin the entire pond, so it's that same thing. And then again, cyberbullying is just this whole human behavior of selectively targeting or ostracizing people based on tiny differences, and they might not even be actual like points to hate someone over, and then it becomes it's just the same thing happening online. Yeah. So Bhairavi wants to say something.
Yeah, hi everyone. So, talking about the differences, I would like to say ki when it comes to face-to-face bullying, you at least know the person who's like bullying you. You know the person. So the next time you come across that person, you generally try to avoid. But if when it comes to cyberbullying, you don't know the person. You block one account. There's the same person coming from another account, or so I guess that is like a major difference that does cause a lot of problems because you don't actually know who the person behind all of this is. But when it comes to face bullying, we do know who the person is. So yeah, I think that is a major difference between face-to-face bullying and cyberbullying.
Yeah, true. So yes, Salim, go ahead.
Yeah, and also like there's no like as Bhairavi pointed out, we don't know that person. So it can be your nearest neighbor, next door neighbor, or it can be your cousin, relative, or someone from like America or something, like from different part of the earth who has no relation to you in any context, but they can come, like they can go and bully you. So there are so many issues and so many things that can matter with this, and there are so many problems that come along with this. So yeah.
True. Thank you so much, Bhairavi, Anshuman, and Salim. So we won't be able to understand the sensitivity of
Madhu,
cyberbullying.
excuse
Yeah.
me. Anshuman, did you raise your hand again? Like, do
Okay. So sorry, Anshuman.
no,
Yes,
no,
go
it's
ahead.
It's okay. I think what some of you are mentioning is like cyber stalking, or like where the person selectively targeting you might be anonymous and you might not know the identity of that person. And I think that's a little bit different. I think, I don't know, maybe it does fall into the superset of cyberbullying because you are getting sort of like bullied on. But then bullying, cyberbullying to me, like in my definition, is like basically kids, like the way kids get bullied in school, and then the same thing goes online, where you know who's being talked about. Then I think yeah, even that's a phenomenon, that cyber stalking thing, getting unsolicited messages or unsolicited pictures from people, and then getting like harassed through lots of different numbers on various platforms. And then yeah, of course, you, in those situations, like if it's happening physically, you could actually, like, might be able to avoid the person, or but yeah, in over here, there are way too many platforms for that person to find and trouble you. And yeah, that's also a very, very real problem. Yeah.
True. For many people, it's not the same thing, but here we are considering it as a part of cyberbullying only, cyber stalking and every kind of misuse of data that you put on internet. Lavanya, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I would just like to agree to what they have already mentioned, because like with the age of internet, we have seen everything being moved on from a physical mode to a virtual mode. And this is also applied to the bullying the bullying aspect of it, and the anonymity that the virtual world provides us. That makes us all the more vulnerable to all these bullying crimes and all these instances. Also, like just like Anshuman mentioned, there's a lot of data out there. So if someone is bullying us physically, the most they can harm us is like mental harm and physical harm. But when they have our data, our privacy is so endangered through that, which is like a very big disadvantage of it. It doesn't it is not affected by that means in physical bullying. However, in cyberbullying, our data is endangered, our privacy is endangered.
So true. Salim, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that, like what Anshuman said was one type of cyberbullying, but there are various branches. So cyber stalking is one, and also like there are various different stages, like different criterias of cyberbullying, if you say so. Like,
Yeah, cyber
uh,
fraud and other
yeah,
things are also under it only
there are
for us.
many aspects of cyberbullying. Or what he was saying was like cyberbullying just between schoolmates or friends or something.
Yes, so we are considering all the kinds of bullying that happens on internet, whether it be stalking, frauding, everything comes under cyberbullying for us. Okay, so we won't be able to understand the sensitivity of cyberbullying until we know the impact of it, right? So to tell us more about the impacts of cyberbullying, I want to invite Lavanya Sharma, who is the secretary of Oratory Club. She will tell us more about it. Lavanya?
Yeah, so like just like any other form of bullying, cyberbullying also affects both the victim and the bully itself. So like while we always focus on how the victim is affected by it, we know that causes a lack of self-confidence. It provides a long-term damage to self-esteem. It pushes a person into depression. It creates anxiety problems, and in some extreme cases, it even causes death. However, there's also an impact of cyberbullying on the bully itself, because the fact that they choose to intentionally harm someone shows that how antisocial and how unsympathetic they are. It also shows a violent behavior in them, and usually this leads to a downward spiral growth in their life. So, and the other aspect of it is the bystanders who continue to look at it from a third person perspective and still choose to not stop it and still choose to not do anything against it. So all these impacts, it does not even, the impact is just not limited to the victim. It even impacts the bully. It even impacts the bystanders who let these crimes happen in daylight, who let these crimes happen in front of everyone on a platform where billions of people are part of that platform, and still they choose to do nothing about it. Yes, Anshuman.
Yeah, very well said, Lavanya. I was just thinking, just circling back to what Celine was saying. I think, to put all of it, like cyber fraud also into cyberbullying is, I think, a little bit of a reach, because you can put it under cyber crimes. Because bullying is threatening and intimidating people who are in a vulnerable position, like in a position where somebody can actually do those sorts of things to you. So I think we can talk about everything, but then I think there are different things we can talk about it all. And then like Lavanya brought up a very important point about the psychology of the bully. I think it's worth discussing where the bully comes from when these things are done. In my experience and in my opinion, I think um, like people who I have observed doing these things, they actually get genuine pleasure out of doing these things, and they somehow remain that way their whole lives. Like I haven't seen any such person like changing, and I think they might be, as they grow up, they might be better at covering up their behavior, but then they remain the same way. They still get a genuine kick out of doing something to someone who's in a position where they can actually receive harm from them. So yeah, I think some people are just like that. And some people can be like apologists for bullies, or people who are antisocial, like, oh, what, this happened, that happened in their childhood. And I think that's all hogwash, because some people are just like that regardless of what background they come from. People from good backgrounds, bad backgrounds become those people. and then also it's just I don't know. In my opinion, it just runs contrary to what I've seen because yeah, it's just I think it's just one personality trait that's innate to many people, and yeah, I'd love to hear your opinions.
Yes, Bhav, go ahead.
Just adding to what Anshuman said, I think at times it could also be a person who has already faced, like at times it could just be to take, go against someone because someone has done something to you which hurts you on certain extent, but you are not strong enough to fight them, face to face, or maybe, go against them with them knowing you're not that strong. So you end up, bullying the person online. I don't think any of this justifies cyberbullying, but I think there is a possibility when you just are not strong enough to let the person in front of you know, it's me who's trying to go against you. You would rather prefer going online when it comes to bullying. I think, yeah, that's also a possibility.
That's so true. Person who has been bullied earlier could be a bully sometimes if he wants or she wants to take some revenge. Yes, Celine, you have raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Bhairavi there because like there are many cases of people who've been assaulted or bullied upon in their childhood or in their school days, and they go on to do that to their uh, uh, what do you say, mates of or colleagues or something. So no one says, like, no one is condoning it, but there are like people who research all these psychologies, I mean the psychologies of criminals, or who are uh, who are studying their state of mind. They do come out with these, like, some of these articles which are worth reading because some of them have gone through very very bad stories in their own childhood, and though that does not obviously justifies what they do, but it can be we can at least uh, see what that is and how we can prevent it, at least amongst our colleagues or friends, by just giving them an arm, or just being a friend. If we see someone who has these, who's gone through something in their past, or just rather than just ignoring it.
So true, Celine. Thank you so much for your input. Lavanya, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Kothai ma'am has just
Okay.
replied in our chat. Thank you
Great
so much,
initiative,
Kothai
miss.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. It means a lot coming from you. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Celine. Sorry, Lavanya, go ahead.
Yeah, so just like Bhairavi mentioned, like someone who gets bullied first also tends to bully other people. So I don't really think I would like to like justify it, like saying that a bully is not born; they are made. And even though if they are bullied and they choose to bully other people, so like a very famous quote says that an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. So if you go into this revenge mentality and choose to bully someone, even after you have faced the depression, the anxiety that bullying brings with it, then it shows a character flaw in you yourself, rather than fighting against it, and rather than channeling it into something positive and channeling it to better up your life and to better up your character. You choose to consciously hurt other people even after knowing that it has hurted you. So I don't think that's a very good thing to do. But also, when someone's bullied, they are not in the mental state to differentiate between what's right and wrong. In that phase, we need to first provide better guidance to those who have been bullied. And moreover, in our society, there has always been this uh, saying of survival of the fittest, which automatically people translate into an aggressive behavior. And they believe that an aggressive behavior will make them more fit and will increase their survival chances. So according to me, that also gives them the kick, like Anshuman mentioned, uh, in bullying people, and gives them the happiness.
True. Thank you so much, Lavanya. So, what's the solution here? You can't leave internet in today's world, right? Everything is on internet. Your study, your passion, everything is on internet. How do you go about solving this problem? So you can try to put as less information as you can about your personal details or data. You can only keep connected with person that you know and you have trust. You can, be on as limited apps that you want to. There's no need to available on every app for you. This will also reduce your chances to being bullied. Any other input that you guys want to share, because it's not possible to leave internet, right? So you need to be find some solution here. So what is the solution? What do you guys think? Please let us know.
Hello. Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, Kunal, you are.
One thing I would like to point out, following up your point that you want to pick up, Madhu, is that it depends on which domain is this particular bullying thing happening. Is it something? Is this bullying happening outside of an institution? Or is this bullying happening inside of a company or a corporate environment? Or is this bullying happening between friends? Or is this bullying happening due to any other dominant behavior or any personal relations outside of any institution or any body? So I think as far as bullying inside a certain institution or corporates is concerned, then I think it is pretty straightforward for people who are suffering from that particular thing, to be able to report the behavior as a remedial action. But as far as the bullying is concerned outside in a personal capacity outside of any institution or any other domain, it comes down to how the particular person deals with it, or rather how the laws are structured, and how the governments or how the whole country as a whole, the bureaucracy helps the particular person in dealing with it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Kunal. Yes, Celine.
Yeah, I guess it's just speaking up. So speak up against someone who's, who's commenting on you or saying nasty things to you, because that is the biggest tool that you ever have. And even when you've been bullied in the past, so you should know that speaking up will go far, far long. So yeah.
True. Thank you so much, Celine. I'll request everyone to please put their original name in the name section so that we can identify who is speaking. Yes, Lavanya, go ahead.
Yeah, like if you are being bullied, you should raise your voice. But another thing that we as a society should do to not only eradicate cyberbullying, but all forms of bullying, is that not wait for our chance to be bullied and then raise our voice. We should learn to not stand as bystanders, like silent bystanders, and watch other people being bullied just because it is not our own problem. Just because we are not being bullied, we should not be silent. And once we learn that, and once we as a society learn to stand for others instead of just standing for us, that will go a long way. And for that, we have to like groom ourselves from now on. We have to groom the future generation. We have to like provide the right type of guidance to everyone, that speaking up does not make you vulnerable. Speaking up does not make you any coward or any less strong. So yeah, speaking up for others is also like very important to eradicate bullying.
True. Speaking up doesn't not make you vulnerable. Thank you, Lavanya, so much. Bharvi, you go ahead.
Yeah, so in addition to what Celine said, I think speaking up, if you know your way with words, you could just go ahead with, tackling with the person on one-to-one basis. But if not, you could simply ignore on that one-to-one basis. And then I guess there are ways in which you could, legally go with this. We do have cybercrime departments, if I'm not wrong. That does make the process a bit lengthy. But if you think you are not that strong enough and you have given a lot of information which makes you quite vulnerable to go against someone on a one-to-one basis online, it would rather be better to concern people who are specifically assigned for these purposes and go with it legally. Yeah.
Thank you, Bharvi. Yes, Anshuman, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. So I wanted to talk about everyone was talking about speaking up and all. So you can often find yourself in a position where speaking up is of no use because those around you don't really care. All right, they and also in fact you might be in a position where the bystanders actually enjoy it. All right, so like one of my idols, Charlie Munger, says, I never tell anyone my problems because 90% of people don't care and 10% people are actually glad I have those problems. So you can often find yourself in such a position. And in my opinion, speaking up is if you are in a in an environment where people are empathetic to your condition. If people are not empathetic, speaking up really does no good. All right. um, so I think in such a position, you might be better off retaliating in a similar manner, or for that matter just withdrawing and just retreating from that situation, not being in that environment at all. So yeah, and yeah, if I as far as speaking up for others goes, I'm a strong believer in that. Because okay, like you are, let's say, in an environment where you see that most people are either either don't care or they're actually enjoying it. If you speak up, that might influence the thinking of some people who don't care, and they might actually think, yeah, you know what, this is wrong, let's stop this. I am in favor of speaking up for others. I strongly believe in speaking up for others. As far as speaking up for my own self, I'm not a big believer in that. And yeah, and then also a lot of times these, and I'll talk about it later when we're deeply discussing the psychological effects of the person who gets bullied. Just remind me to circle back to this point. But often, like, these situations are actually stressors which make you stronger. All right. So if you lift weights, all right, that gives a signal to your bones to get stronger, and in turn, your chances of getting a fracture uh, reduce dramatically. And as you keep doubling the weight, the risk of a fracture, like the curve just falls down significantly. And just any other stressor, hormesis, if you starve yourself for 2 days, your immunity system gets better. So like the concept of stressors is all around us in nature. And the thing is that in a lot of these situations, if you just have courage and stand up and just face that person who's doing that thing, you come out of that situation much stronger. If it's just words, you come out mentally a lot stronger. And then again, in a lot of these situations, people actually involve their parents or hide behind certain people. I think these, especially when growing up, a lot of these situations are good opportunities to actually expose yourself to that stressor, and you come out stronger in turn, in my opinion. So yeah, and I'll circle back to this point when we're talking about the psychological effects on the person who is bullied. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshuman. I again request everyone to please put their real name in the name section. It would be very much easier for us to recognize you. Okay, Karan, please go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Anshuman. What he said about the being mentally strong definitely helps. But what I think is the mentality of a cyber bully who involves in this thing, that the pseudo anonymity of a person on internet really encourages him to involve in such activity. Like if he thinks that that everyone doesn't know who he is. He thinks that no one recognizes him on internet if he makes a fake ID. So that's why they involved in this. If such a forum is there where their email ID or the ID on the platform is directly linked to their original ID to the real world, then they might hold back and think twice before posting or involving in cyberbullying. That's what I think.
True, that might decrease the chances of cyberbullying. Thank you, Karan. Lavanya, yes, go ahead.
I would just like to mention like 2 points. Like just like Anshuman mentioned that stressors are important for a person's personal growth, but also like this stressor should be gradual. Like if a person is into weightlifting and all, so you start with a small weight and then you go on to like have more weights and then increase your immunity and increase your strength towards it. And in bullying, the case is not same. Usually, a lot of pressure is put on them. However, there are cases where, if like for example, if someone is forced to speak up by a bully, and they consciously choose to speak up and get over their fear, get and build that amount of self confidence and get over their fear of public speaking or get over their fear of retaliating, then that is definitely a good point for them. But usually what we have seen is like the stress level is more than they can cope up with at that point of time. And also like when it comes to speaking up, just like Anshuman said, like 90% of people don't care and 10% are actually glad that it happened. So we need to once again like create an environment, create an empathetic environment so that no one feels scared to speak up.
Yes, thank you, Lavanya. Thank you so much. Um, so yes, Salim, go ahead.
We have one question in the chat from Vishesh. So I'll put that question. I have one interesting question, like body shaming will also come under bullying. Like people normally say to each other, like you are too fat, even for fun. So would that also come in under cyberbullying? So I think yes, because if you do it to a very great extent, it does come under like even in school, what is bullying? You call someone like you're dark and like dark like kale gore uspe comment karna, or else commenting on their body shape or body color. That is normally usually what bullying we goes in in schools or something. So there are many other types of bullying, but this is usually the normally the case. So if it is done online, so yeah, I think that also comes. What else? What do you all say?
True, I think any comments on below the post or saying you are fat, you are small, or you are ugly, these all comes under cyberbullying. Yes, Anshuman, go ahead.
Anshuman.
Yeah, thank you. Celine brought up a very interesting point, which was that uh, that when people pass comments on your physical appearance, or it could also be how much marks you got, or anything to that matter, just to put a dent into your self-respect. So as far as and since we're talking about body shaming, what Vishesh was talking about earlier, like there are these cultural reversals that happen over time, reversals or changes. All right, so you can say the same kids who are woke today were, you can roughly say, were these kind of people in their childhood. So basically what happens is that suddenly they are shaming people who, I think these days you don't have to worry too much about anyone calling you fat. These days you have to, these days there's more of more whatever prevalence of being called fat phobic if you go to the gym, like which is like increasingly a thing these days, that so anyway, these all of these things can happen. But then what I basically notice is that like if in your time and in your environment, in your society, it's culturally okay to call someone fat, then the mean people are going to resort to that in order to fulfill their desire to actually get that kick out of being mean to people. And in another society, let's say in California, the mean people get that get society's license to bully people through a political ideology. So like these things keep on happening. What I basically notice is that it's usually a cohort of people who have this who genuinely gain pleasure out of putting dents into someone's self-respect and self-worth. They choose whatever weapon they have in their arsenal to hurt another person. So yeah, I mean, these things keep on happening. And should we worry about body shaming at this point? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. And a lot of times people themselves get a little bit too sensitive when for example, let's say someone's mother says you've gotten a little bit of fat, you should exercise. So these days, people are quick to label anything as body shaming. So we have to be, of course, there can be genuine body shaming where it's like gotten to the point that someone's like sitting alone in class and not being able to talk to anyone. But then it's also about on the other side of the spectrum. It can also happen that people are too sensitive, that any comment is like and then that gives them an opportunity to call someone else a certain word, whatever the buzzword is going on, and then bully them in turn. So yeah, and these things happen. Yeah.
Yes, Celine, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Anshuman on the thing that, like it also depends on person to person. Someone, how much, like not insult, how much comments you can accept about yourself. Some people accept, retaliate in just one or two sentences. You just call them fat, and they'll start, saying that, how dare you call me fat or something. So there are cases like that. So it also it is very subjective, but I think that the biggest thing is about gaining what do you say, growing your own, growing a thick skin for yourself. So some things are some things like calling you fat, or some of these things are just ingrained in our society very much. Aunties calling us, aunties body shaming us, like तू तो बहुत मोटा हो गया, तू तो बहुत पतला हो गया. Like we hear this on a regular basis nowadays. So like so it is very important to grow thick skin or just be comfortable. Yes, I am healthy or I am fat, I know that, and I don't care. I like food. I would love to eat food. Like I don't care if I'm getting fat or I'm thin as always. And I like this and I'm doing it because that is what I'm comfortable with. So it is very important to be comfortable in your own skin, and to accept everything. Yes, obviously you cannot accept like extreme cases of people calling you something, and that is something you should not accept. But there are some things that there are little things that you sure what do you say, I can't remember the word for it. You should be able to ignore it and go on thinking, not just go on but be comfortable. Yes, so what, I am like that and I'm happy like that. Why do you care?
Yeah, so basically be
So it is
confident
very
of your own
important.
self, right?
Yeah.
Be confident about your own self. Great. So most of these cyberbullying obviously happens on internet through apps and like websites or something. Do you think that the technology companies, the app companies, are somewhere responsible for these kind of cyberbullying? Are they playing any part in it or something? Please do let us know. Yes, Anshuman.
I mean, in my opinion, and I don't know if I think this might get a little bit of flack, but here goes. Just holding like the social media company like Facebook or WhatsApp or Telegram accountable for someone's behavior on their platform is just like holding like DPS or Amity accountable for some bully saying unkind things to your child. I mean, they anyway have to take things down that are illegal, and then now increasingly not just illegal, they have these things like community guidelines. So like if you're actually intentionally being rude or offensive to someone, they take it down. But in my opinion, as long as it's not illegal, it should not be taken down. If if there are instances where your picture is being used without your permission, which is something I faced very recently. In those situations, in my personal case, I'm okay with it. I'll deal with that person myself. But yeah, like if it's a sensitive photo of someone else, maybe like the app should take it down. But then if it's like somebody saying something unkind to you, or somebody putting a filter on your picture, I think in those situations you can very well deal with that person. And yeah, not going into too much detail, but somebody recently did that, and yeah, I'm going to take very good care of that person later on today. So yeah, uh, nice discussion. Yes, I think Lavanya has something to say.
Yes, Lavanya, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say like somewhat similar to what Anshuman said. Like for example, like if we take like physical bullying in account, when bullying happens in schools or something like that, even in a school of like 500 to 1,000 people, it is not completely possible when those people, those children are present in front of the teachers, in the guidance of the teachers and the principals and the administration. Still, it is not possible to completely stop bullying. So when we have such big platforms where millions and billions of people are part of it, and millions of people are continuously using it every second, it's very like irresponsible of us to like blame the platforms and the big companies to actually hold them accountable for it, and to actually expect them to take into account everything, every comment, every word being written on those platforms every second. So that won't be possible, but yes, there should be limits, and after that limit, action should be taken, and I guess there is like increasing awareness regarding that.
True. So the social media company or the platform can do much, but the government has certain rules to help people who are getting bullied or to fight with them. To more tell us more about that, we have Celine, who is the Secretary of Finance Club, who will tell us more about the laws in India that will help you through cyberbullying. Celine, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I searched some laws. When I searched on Google about the laws in India, obviously we don't have much laws, as in cyber itself does not have much laws to prevent crimes on it, and cyberbullying follows that trend. So, but we have 2 3 laws. One is for uh, I don't know if what we're discussing here will agree with this. I mean, like the laws are for extreme cases of cyberbullying, which are like cyber stalking and creating fake IDs or something like that. So if we're not discussing that, I don't think we have any laws that prevent cyberbullying as such.
No, actually, go ahead. We'll hear all of
Okay.
them.
So what I got from the when I searched about it, so there are cyber stalk like there is one law for cyber stalking of women. So in case someone is threatening or sending obscene messages, or stealing a person's identity online and circulating false information, tracing the location of that person through illegal means, uploading obscene pictures, or posting derogatory comments online with the intent to harass. So these are what includes as cyber stalking. So there are some laws to prevent that cyber stalking of women. So this is especially for women who face these things. Article section 354D of IPC penalizes the offense of both offline and online stalking. without discriminating on the basis of presence or absence of cyber component. So I think that section itself takes care of both. So uh, so we have that for cyber stalking of women. Cyber stalking of men doesn't have a separate uh, thing, because section 354D I think only applies for women. So but for cyber stalking, there have been cases in the courts where such cases have come up, and there are many like an amalgamation of many sections have been applied, and uh, accused people have been arrested on those basis. So there are like it depends on case per case. So it can be used like if someone is getting threatened online, or so there are like laws of, which relate to threatening or intimidating a person that can be applied. So it is very case to case basis. So it depends on the case, on what it is going on. And also online sexual harassment. So that is also, I think, along with offline and online, like the sections which are used for offline sexual harassment, the same has been used for online. So this was updated in the Sexual Harassment Act 2013. And uh, so this is for women. And uh, these acts take care of specifically sexual harassment of women. And also fake Facebook profiles. We can't make anyone's Facebook profiles on anyone's name. That is also criminally charged. So there are sections 354A, 354D, and 499 with section 500 with section 500 that can be applied on these cases. So there are these cases which are applied on set. And for bullying especially, there is not much that can be done, but there are, if it's in school or if it's in a educational institute, we can most of the educational institutes nowadays have a special committee that takes care of bullying or harassment of any kind. So you can always approach them, and if it's a very extreme case, that committee will if it's between children, so that committee will inform the authorities, and then uh, it can be taken care of under the Juvenile Justice Act. So there are, I think, provisions for bullying as such. That's it, but we don't have much, as in all cyber crimes don't have much laws. And there have been a lot of calling to update the cyber laws, as the technology is getting updated so with so rapidly. So we need more stringent laws to take care of such people. Yeah.
True. Thank you so much, Salim. Also, I'd like to mention like laws are for women only in most of the sectors for cyber crimes, but that doesn't mean like men are not bullied on uh, internet or something like that. Also, like cybercrime cases, all kinds of cybercrime cases can be reported at the government website www.cybercrime.gov.in, and there's one helpline number also available, that is 155260. Uh, okay, so yes, Anshuman, you have raised your hand.
Yeah, thank you for recognizing me. Yeah, and from what Celine told us, I think, yeah, in terms of like laws regarding this phenomenon, there isn't much. And I think that's again because the pace of technology has always outpaced the pace of legalese and bureaucracy. And we're pretty much in like uncharted waters. Like these things like 20 years ago didn't happen. And being specific to this example, the Indian Penal Code is actually older than India's independence. So even before India became an independent republic, we had the Indian Penal Code, and a lot of in fact, most of it has been transferred directly from British India to the Republic of India. So yeah, I think yeah, in any sphere of lawmaking, it's or like safety testing, it's always like an error correction mechanism where things happen, people notice, okay, we need a law to regulate this thing, and then a law happens. And then yeah, and then of course laws shouldn't be too restrictive in the sense that it curtails freedom of speech. In any case, we don't have freedom of speech per se in India, because if you say something and someone's offended by your speech, you can get arrested for it. Especially when it comes to topics like any topic that a person wants to talk about, religion, politics, anything like that. If a certain group is offended by what you're saying, they can file an FIR against you. And I think, in my opinion, in that sense, I mean that shouldn't happen, and hopefully, I hope to see an India which is free speech first, just like the United States is. And yeah, those are my 2 cents.
Thank you, Anshuman. Utkarsh?
Uh, Hi guys. Also, I would like to add to the point, like based on Salim's and Lavanya's points, that nowadays, if somebody is facing any kind of bullying or such kind of activities, so they can just directly go to the website which is shared by Madhu. These websites are very informative and also very fast. They directly sends the case to the area police station, and you are directly contacted within 3 or 2 days. So it is very nice nowadays. The fast track system is very nice and transparent, so the help will be reached fastly. So that's the thing.
True. Thank you so much, Utkarsh. So, moving on, we understood every concept of cyberbullying, but how do we keep our data safe? We already talked about it. Don't be on any social media platform that you need not be, or keep your profile low. But that doesn't make sense, right? You should be able to express yourself. You should be able to like be on every platform you want to, not to be like afraid about putting something. So we wanted to talk more about it. Before that, Anshuman has some points like the psychological impact that cyberbullying puts on someone. So we'll go with that and then we'll further proceed with other sections. Yes, Anshuman, you can talk about it now.
Sure, thank you. So I'd actually love to hear everyone's opinion on this. Generally we talk about how like there are people talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, and there's like clinical depression and lots of anxiety and a lot of these things. And then also there is this phenomenon that the psychiatry, uh, the whole industry around it tends to create a disease out of every single human emotion. Like if you're experiencing a little bit of something, of course there's clinical depression, but they're too quick to diagnose people and too quick to give out medication for things. And in my opinion, in a lot of these situations, like the person is best off facing these things themselves. Some people take the support of like intoxicants or tablets. I do not think that in every single case this should happen. And I think in most cases you should try to resolve the situation without it. And then of course that option remains if you're in like an edge case where it isn't resolved. People talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, but then no one talks about post-traumatic growth. All right, so I don't want to go into too many details. Like I went through some stuff when I was a kid, but then I knew that it was not making me weaker, or it was not going to ruin me. I sort of had that idea, and then yeah, uh, often what happens is that in a lot of these situations, that you just come out with a thicker skin. And as far as simple name calling goes, see, I grew up in Gurgaon. Okay, so people say all kinds of things about you, about your family, all sorts of combinations of bad words in Hindi that you can think of, in Haryanvi that you can think of, and you have to be used to that from a very early age. So that doesn't work. But then of course, there are, let's say someone knows information about something that happened to you, and someone uses that to defame you or malign your status or something, anything like that. So again, those things happen. And aside from just having thick skin, it's like, I think these experiences are very very essential experiences in life. Like, for example, just taking just taking the example of to avoid stock market crashes. The governments around the world, they regulate interest prices such that crashes never happen. Or for that matter, they keep printing money in order to pay up some expense that they have, but they shouldn't be doing that. So what the main point that I'm getting at is, and also like forest fires. Okay, speaking of forest fires, if you let the occasional forest fire happen, the entire forest is not burn. So, all right, so when there are forest rangers that are extinguishing every little forest fire that's happening, the whole reason a forest fire happens is, like, unless it's like human intervention, if it happens naturally, it's because it's a cleanup of that hazard over there. And if you basically especially with in the modern day with like medicine and technology, people always want their dopamine to go up and not to go down. The fluctuation is very important, because based on your actual human experiences, you are going to feel happy and you are going to feel sad. You are going to feel anxious. You are going to, all sorts of these emotions you're going to experience. But then there's this tendency that these days modern humans want to eliminate all of the downside and just have the upside. And the thing, what really happens is, when you keep on just eliminating the downside, the risk of an ultimate blow up keeps on building up. All right. If you keep giving someone medication in a situation where they do not actually require it, a psychiatrist is just too quick to give out Prozac to someone, that person is going to be dependent on that drug for their whole life. And over time, what's going to happen is that the drug sensitivity is actually going to increase, in the sense that they're going to need higher and higher doses just to feel normal, just to have their baseline dopamine at normal levels. So again what I'm saying is that, of course, there are edge cases where these situations are required, but then people shouldn't be too quick to turn to them. And then also, again, like, just going back to the psychological effects on the person, uh in most situations, you actually stand to benefit from these situations than to lose from them. And yeah, like just Celine also mentioned, just have a thick skin. And yeah, just in a lot of these situations, you should you could, at the risk of sounding insensitive, I'll say, you should actually deal with it. And then, of course, if it's a very very serious situation, of course, intervention is required. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that there are no victims, or there are no people that go through very serious stuff. I'm just saying that there's also a positive aspect of it, like a blessing in disguise sort of situation in these situations that people fail to appreciate. Yeah, those are my 2 cents. Thank you.
Yes, Lavanya.
Yeah, just like what you mentioned, just to elaborate on that point, because I just remembered of this series that I just watched. just watched like the Korean series, and in that also there was this girl who was bullied because of her looks, and she was bullied so badly that she used to leave her school and all, and she shifted schools. And just to escape that bullying, she honed up her makeup skills, and she started to put on more makeup, and she started to look pretty. And later on, when people realized that she's not actually pretty and she's just using makeup, she was bullied for using makeup in her new school. And then she realized that this loop will go on unless and until she stands up to it. And then she, instead of looking out for an escape or looking, it was such a beautiful message, and it completely resonates with what Anshuman just mentioned, that it was a blessing in disguise for her. The bullying led her to become a famous makeup artist in future. So yeah, definitely there's a positive side to everything. The only thing is that it should be in limit.
Yes, thank you, Lavanya. So for me, the quickest way to deal with cyberbullying is to talk about it either with your parents, person who you can trust, completely trust. And it's important that you keep evidences with yourself. If you are going to report it or you are going to someone show someone about the instances, so like keep a screenshot, keep a recording or anything, like having an evidence is like a plus point to deal with these kinds of situations. And like go to the most trusted person, because dealing every time dealing it some with something on your own uh, might not be a good for yourself or for your mental health. So as everything as it goes for everything, like talk about it and speak up and go to the most trusted person. Yes, Lavanya, go ahead. Okay, so Bharvi, you can go on.
Yeah, I raised my hand earlier and I forgot to do it.
Okay, it's completely fine. Yes, Bharvi.
Yeah, so just in addition to what Madhu said, keeping evidence is really important because nowadays, like, it's also a trend that you blame. There are a lot of people who blame others for no good reason. There's actually nothing happened, and you end up blaming. So when you're going for some legal help, it's really important to keep some evidence in hand with you, so that it becomes easier for the people who are going to help you out, because they might just end up ignoring you if you don't have evidence. Times there's a probability you might not have evidence, but yeah, it's very important key you just keep something in hand with you just as a proof ki you are really a victim of cyberbullying. Yes.
True. Yes, Utkarsh.
Yeah, keeping proof is very important. Even this happened a few time ago in my group also, that a person was bullying one of my groupmate, and he was like totally threatening him, sorry, her, that he will be there or something, or somewhat will happen if your father is not in police or something like that. But the point is, if you keep these proofs, then you can use it for the better giving proof to the, wherever you are reporting it. Then after this incident happened, I actually reached out to our POD team, Kodai ma'am, and she asked me to technically mail it to the student affairs, so that it can be dealt properly. So it handled quite well, and after that, that person actually left the group, and it was not seen anywhere. But yeah, these things, keeping proof and promoting it to the higher authority or whoever is power, is very nice thing, and one should always speak for it. Like, nobody should just stand and just listen. Yeah, that this thing is happening. The If somebody is getting bullied, that's his or her responsibility to raise voice. If you are in group member, or you are somewhere you are finding it inappropriate, just take the step and speak for that person.
True. Thank you so much. Yes, Anshuman.
Yeah, I wanted to circle back on that the point that I was making earlier. So I want to make a distinction that you don't want a terminal problem. All right. So if we take the analogy of the bone again, all right, you don't you don't want a situation where the weight has actually broken your bone. All right. And in that situation, by the way, in that situation, outside intervention is necessary. Like you need to go to the doctor. All right. You need to seek outside assistance, or to the point where you've sprained your ankle, or you've had an ACL tear or anything like that. But if it's manageable, it is actually an opportunity for growth. All right. Like just without going into details again, I just mentioned that somebody actually just troubled my mental peace a little bit earlier, and I'm going to deal with it right after this event ends. So yeah, that's an opportunity for growth, and also for when I look back at it, I'll be like, yeah, I dealt with that problem very well with class. And uh, so yeah, again, terminal problem versus stressors. All right. Stressors, small stressors are good. They actually lead to your personal development. But then, of course, if it's a terminal situation, uh, broken bone, cancer, like risk of complete ruin, like mutually assured destruction due to nuclear weapons. Those are the situations you don't want, because you cannot recover from it. There is no growth from those situations. So yeah, again, taking that into the context of mental health and cyberbullying, you do not want a situation like that. And if you face a risk of facing that situation, you should definitely reach out to the concerned authorities, reach out to your parents, and take appropriate action. Yeah.
So the crux here is deal with it. If you can, there is no necessity. It's like Anshuman's. It's also subjective, right? This matter is subjective. That's what Anshuman feels. So yes, deal with it if you can. But if you need help, immediately ask for help. There is no shame. There is no vulnerability you are showing in asking for help. Also, go to the most trusted person. Keep evidences with yourself if possible. And it's not your fault. Also, retaliating doesn't mean like you start bullying the other person, or like uh, make the person stand in your own position, right? This like doesn't make sense to me. So please ask for help and go with what you think, and if you can handle it, go with that. um Bharat, you have some points to make. You messaged, so if you have, you can.
Yeah,
Yes, please go
yeah,
ahead.
we are talking about cyberbullying. So we have much talked about the behavioral features, like how we should behave, or how we should use the internet, or how we can be safe. But I want to tell about the two laws which are enacted by the government for like cyberbullying or these type of activities. One is section 507 of IPC, and second one is section 66E of IT Act. And apart from this, government has UGC has also given instruction for educating the students in colleges or institutions for the cyberbullying or cyber security, these type of topics. And it can be little different or lateral topic, but I want to include that when we search when we search on internet, we download some books or anything stuff of our use. We often get the infected files. We do not want, but we get the infected files. And after so much precautions, if we get even after even precautions, so there is a website, namely virustotal.com. You can upload the infected file there, and the website, what it works like, it scan the file by different type of antiviruses, tons of antiviruses, 40, 50, 100 antiviruses. Then it tells about which type of virus or which type of ransomware or malware is present in the file. So you can download the same antidote or the same antivirus of that kind only. So this can be helpful for this type of thing. So that's all.
Thank you so much, Bharat, for your input. We are at the end of this session. We discussed a lot of topics related to cyberbullying. I hope you all uh, gave all the inputs that you wanted to and learned something new also. So cyberbullying is kind of a sensitive issue for everyone in this world, and we have to deal with it because we are dealing with it because everyone is on internet and there is nothing we can do. We can't leave internet. So being on internet has its upside and downsides as well, and cyberbullying is one of them. Um, as we already said, reach out if you need help, or hello?
Madhu,
Yeah,
I guess
you
there's
are
some
audible.
disturbance. Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. I can close the event for all of you. So actually, just before we end, I wanted to talk about something. Like somebody earlier mentioned that retaliation isn't a good idea, and retaliation in the sense of there is a cyber crime being committed, then obviously you shouldn't be retaliating because you would in turn be committing the same crime that that person is. But if there is no crime, if it's just like somebody's bullying you for your looks or like being a little bit of different, anything like that, for the party you vote for or anything else, if that's a situation, just like in nature, like if you can give someone a befitting reply, if you can hit back, all right. And hitting back is not, I'm not talking about physical violence, I'm talking about in that context of like bullying. If you can defend yourself and give a befitting reply to the person who is attacking you, then it teaches the predator to keep at bay and to stay away from you. And that is a very important mechanism in nature, all right. It's like it's not like in like I think like because of social movements in the last 100 years, people, and also because of how society has evolved, people sort of think that only like a pacifist way is like the best way forward. If somebody says something unkind to you and continues to do that every single day on in the halls of your school, in the hallway of your school, there is no reason for you to keep quiet and just go to the teacher and say hey, this kid's saying that about me. Or someone uses your picture on Facebook, edits it and does something you shouldn't run to someone else in that situation, or say oh, this person did that or what. If you are in a position to give them a befitting reply, you should. And that teaches that person to stay off of you. That person understands, okay, if I continue to trouble this person, I myself will face consequences. And then again, like it goes back to defensive protective measures in nature. Like if a certain plant or a certain insect or a certain in the Amazon forest, certain frogs are even toxic. If you eat them, there is if you harm them, there is anything, not just toxic plants and frogs. If you stand to lose from causing harm to another one, that person realizes that I actually stand to lose from causing harm to this person. And then that keeps that person at bay. Again, not to confuse this with a terminal situation. Like I mentioned before, if it's manageable, under your control, no crime being and no crime happening, and it's a small stressor, you should definitely deal with it head on. And yeah, of course, if a crime is being committed, or like it's a terminal situation where you cannot recover from, by all means contact the concerned authority, your parents, your teachers, anyone like that. Yeah. Bhairavi has something to say.
Yes, Bharvi, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. So Anshuman explained it really well, but I think I would like to highlight this very thing. If you are facing something like this, rather than if someone calls you fat, or maybe someone just body shames you or something of that kind, rather than, if you think you are good with your words, you might try to give a befitting reply, but it does like on a general basis, it generally doesn't help out a lot, because the person in front would again come with something better to hurt you. If you know people around you whom you can trust and who can help you, I think it's better to go to them, concern them, and go for better help rather than getting into these things yourself. Because if it gets worse, it's going to be worse for you, because the person who's bullying you is going to enjoy it all the way more, because you'll give him or her more chances to do so. So it's better to concern the rightful people rather than and I don't mean to go against anyone or against anyone's opinions, but this is what I as a person would rather do. And you also know your stand. You know at a point ki, okay, will I be able to fight against someone, or will I be able to, after a particular point, will I be able to defend myself? You know where you stand. It's better to always analyze your position before going or getting into these things by yourself, without any help, without any proper legal guidance or anything of this kind. So it's always better to be on a safer side, concern people who are really experienced with these things. And by experience, I mean people who would legally help you if it goes to a certain extent. And if at all it's on a very small scale, like someone calling you fat, and if you're strong enough, if it's something that ends there, it's just good to just leave it and just go ahead. If it goes on happening, better go for if it continues, go for help. If it stops there, you could just ignore. You just don't pay attention at every person who comes and talks against you. But yeah, that's my view. Rather than getting into a lot of problem, rather keep yourself safe, go for legal help. Or if it's something on a very small scale, you could just ignore. Yeah.
Also, like in
Well
most
said.
of the cases, these people are attention seekers only. They need your attention. The more you give them attention, the more things they will come up with to bully you, right? Yes, Lavanya, go ahead.
That's so true.
Yeah, just to like sum up, like in my opinion, what really matters is maintaining your self-confidence, and just like mentioned, maintaining a thick skin, so that no matter what anyone else say, or what their opinions are, it should not hinder your opinions about yourself and your confidence in your abilities and your skills. And also understanding the limit, like the limit of tolerance, like up to the point that where you can tolerate things, and where their opinion, their words don't affect you, and then a limit to where you have to retaliate, and the limit to where you have to stand up, also when it's your turn, and also when others are being bullied in front of you as a bystander, where you have to stand up and where you have to take external help. And also when you are being bullied, taking a stand for yourself and taking help from others, identifying the situation where you need help, and identifying the situation where you can handle it yourself according to your abilities. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lavanya. So yes, Bharvi.
Just a small addition to when I say you can ignore it, people might find it a bit, not right. How can she say we should be ignoring it? So if you don't find it right to ignore, then don't. What I only mean is that, fighting yourself and just getting yourself deeper into those things will cause a bigger problem. If you cannot ignore, at a point, I cannot take this more, I cannot ignore now, I need to do something. It's better to concern people rather than get into it yourself, because again, as Madhu said, these people are attention seekers. You give them attention, they are going to enjoy it. It's just going to make it worse for you. So I think in all these circumstances, going for the right kind of help is really important, because it's just you who's going to get. Yeah, I guess Lavanya was. And just complete just a moment. So at the end, it's you who's going to get drained off mentally. So it's always better to go for the right help, to work in the right direction, so that you are safe, you live a happy life, and that is something that really matters. So yeah, that's that. Lavanya, if you were trying to say something.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so that's completely fine. That's it for today's session, guys. Cyberbullying is like one of the most sensitive issues, because you can't deny the access of internet and not be on it, because it's like the new digitalized world. But you need to be need to make sure that you are safe, you are not getting bullied. If you are, get help and retaliate if you can in a correct manner, and seek for legal help if it goes beyond the limit, and try to take care of your mental health, physical health, and everything, because
And I
these
think
all are the effects of cyberbullying. So that's in for today's session. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, Lavanya, for organizing this session. She's the secretary of Oratory Club. Thank you so much. And Bharvi, Anshuman, and all the active participants who presented their view in today's session. Thank you so much, everyone. Akshay sir, we can end the recording now. Thank you so much, everyone. We can leave.
Madhu,
Yeah,
like always, you can leave. I'll just inform you. Okay?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye, guys.